up in Staten Island in the late 80s, 90s through the through the like 2000 when I graduated. It was absolutely crazy. It was a tale of two things. You had the crack epidemic in the late 80s and the early 90s, and then we had gang violence in my area. But what I could say is Staten Island is a community that is about families too. And I grew up in a neighborhood uh, where I guess a whole bunch of us were born in and around the same time and wound up growing up together via school and sports and athletics. And so um, I had a great childhood in my mind, but also I had a tough childhood. What brought me to Durham is I wanted to get out of the cold. I was living in Scranton, Pennsylvania at the time. I had been a college basketball coach for about 10 years and wanna wanted to just do something different. And so a friend of mine who I used to be on the radio with when I was in college, she talked to me about this school that I'm at. And I said, oh, okay, cool. And that's how I wound up here at the School for Creative Studies in Durham. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. What inspired me to become an educator is the lack of representation that I didn't see as a kid. Um, when I was in school, I had some really good teachers, and I had some really awful teachers. And some of the awful teachers were very condescending to me about where they thought my education level would be. I wasn't like the most academic student. I was probably more lazy and could coast a little bit only because I had athletic abilities. And so people put me in that bubble. Teachers used to put me in that bubble. And so when I got to a point where I had to make a decision about where I wanted to do in life, I knew I wanted to coach. And the only way I could coach is I had to be in school teaching. And so I wanted to be a teacher for representation. I wanted to be a teacher because I wanted to inspire the next generation and pay it forward. Young Male Achiever is also known as YMA is my baby. It's my baby before my first baby. I started Young Male Achievers in 2005 when I was teaching in Prince George's County, Maryland, at Hyattsville Middle School. At the time when I started it is because there was a prevalence of gang violence in that community. And I saw a lot of recidivism, meaning I saw a lot of the young folks, young males for that matter, going into gang life because their brothers or sisters or their fathers were in gangs, and they just thought that was just the route for them. I lost a couple of friends growing up because of gang violence, and I felt like I could give kids another outlook on or perspective on life so they didn't have to go down that same pathway that really society has said this is the way that most black males probably are going to do, or what most black males are probably going to achieve is like the bare minimum. So I started YMA because of that. When I left Hyattsville and went into college coaching, I didn't bring YMA with me. Truth be told, when I took the job here at Creative Studies, we don't have sports here. And my principal at the time said that every teacher has to have some type of club, some type of after school activity. And because we don't have sports, I had to think about it. And it was easy. What came to mind was let me bring back YMA. And at the time when we first started here at SCS, we had a high rate of suspensions for specifically black and brown young males. We're getting suspended here at a high rate. And so what I decided was I was going to bring it back, and I invited at the time maybe 100 kids that were given to me by their teachers, by the principals, and whatnot. And I invited them to come to an interest meeting. One kid showed up. So I went back again and I said, listen, I need some more names. So I did it one more time, and 24 guys came. And that's what started the movement that we have today, which is, graced us with over 150 young males. I think we are close to like 40 to 50 million in college scholarships at this point. We virtually eliminated in-school suspension. Been recognized by our President Obama. We were invited to the White House, Roy Cooper, our governor, other state and local officials. In fact, April 15th, which is most people signify that as, your tax day officially in Durham, is Young Male Achievers Day of Service and Education in the city of Durham. So it's been a blessing. What is missing in our education system? Where can I start? First thing is funding. We do not fund our schools anywhere close to what they should be funded. And because of that, it has opened a whole bunch of cracks. Because we don't have the teachers to be able to teach, um, our kids are suffering because maybe their favorite subject now has a long-term sub. um, we don't have buildings that are appropriate. Right now, I'm in this gym and it's maybe 60 degrees in this gym. Now, on some days, it could be 90 degrees in this gym. And on some days, it could be 20 degrees in this gym. And when it's 20 degrees in this gym, it's not on the day that I wanted to be 20 degrees in this gym. So we have infrastructure problems that are not conducive to learning. I feel like what else is missing is a lack of innovation in how we approach education. Um, so there's a whole host of things, but it really starts with funding. And I really would love to see the state invest in education the same way they invest in business. Currently, we sit at number 1 in the country in business, number 38 in the country in teacher pay, and number 49 in the country in what we spend on public education in the state. Personally making impact, well, clearly we just talked about young male achievers. That is one way. The other way is I try to make sure that all of our teachers feel important and feel like they have a sense of purpose. I remember being a rookie teacher. This is year 20 for me, even though I don't look like it's year 20. But I remember being a rookie teacher and having some really great mentor teachers. I had a really great principal that told me that, hey, you're the youngest person I've ever hired, and I'm gonna put you under my wing. Um, a lot of times in education, we throw teachers into the water and say either you're gonna swim or you're gonna sink. I don't want teachers to ever feel like they're going to drown without somebody being there for them to lend a hand. So I try to inspire the next generation of teachers by making sure that they know that they feel welcomed and that they have support. I try to make sure our families are taken care of. I do believe that teachers are essential employees, essential workers, because we are in one job, a social worker, a crisis management, crisis response team, an interventionist, you name it. Teachers have to deal with these things in real time. And so I want to make sure that our families know that you can come to us and that we're able to help you, not just our student that's there, but also the families that are impacted within that community, that teachers are going to be there for you one way or the other in and out of the classroom. I want to see the future education again funded. I want to see us invest in innovation in school. That way, if students don't want to go to college, they have a pipeline to get out of generational poverty. That is going to be through trades. That's going to be through all these businesses that are coming in here into the triangle. Like, what pipelines are we setting up for our young people? I want to see an investment in after school programs, in our just in our communities that don't have much investment. When children feel like they could be a whole child and they are getting experiences that are not just athletics or this, but maybe in film, maybe in drawing, maybe in computer design, in the things that are like really hot right now, content creation, and we put in those types of activities within the communities they live. It's going to set those kids up for so much success. Right now, what we see is there's not just food deserts, where there's entertainment deserts, there's activity deserts in a lot of these communities. And these folks and these kids out here trying to do the best they can, and their families are trying to do the best they can. But why can't we just figure out a way to bring it to them instead of them having to figure out how to get to a certain program that's across the town when they don't have a car, they don't have a bus line or a bus route that will take them to there. I think that we have to do better, and we have to start thinking in that way. And so that is my hope, is that we become more innovative in how we look at school, but also how we look at school wide community. And I'm going to do my best to make that happen with or without the resources, but I'd rather do it with the resources.